Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely pumped for this one because we are taking a truly fascinating piece of source material and just completely deconstructing it. Today, we're diving deep into the emotional and structural mechanics of a viral piece of short-form media known simply as the Freedom Script. Now, if you've spent literally any time online, you know that capturing an audience's attention and actually holding it is an absolute art form. This script, which clocks in at just over a minute in its native format, is a total masterclass in using pacing, rhetorical devices, and universal themes to drive massive engagement. And look, we aren't here to take any political sides or endorse a specific viewpoint today. Instead, we're going to pop the hood. We're going to see exactly how a writer takes a massive abstract concept like liberty and distills it into a hyper-effective narrative. So if you're ready to see how viral storytelling actually works, let's jump right in.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the illusion of free, and unpack that hidden cost. Okay, let's look at this opening line. In the source material, this is meant to be delivered over fast, dramatic music with quick visual cuts. But just looking purely at the text, most people think freedom is free, but they have no idea what it costs. Man, this is a classic, highly effective hook. The writer is immediately challenging a common misconception to grab your attention. It creates this instant juxtaposition, right? I mean, we naturally associate the word freedom with the word free. They share the exact same linguistic root. But by dropping the word costs at the very end of the sentence, the script instantly creates a knowledge gap. It's basically telling the viewer, you think you know how this works, but you don't. Listen to me and I'll explain. It is a very deliberate, measured way to take a light concept and immediately weigh it down with gravity.
Moving right along to Section 2, defining everyday freedom. What does this actually look like in our daily lives? What's really cool here is how the script pivots from the abstract to the deeply personal. After hitting you with that heavy philosophical opening, the writer knows they have to ground the concept. If they don't, they lose the audience. So they bring in the rhetorical rule of 3. 1. Waking up without fear. 2. Speaking your mind. 3. Choosing your future. Notice how active and personal these are? The script isn't talking about constitutional law or geopolitical treaties or voting rights in some dry, clinical sense. It's talking about your morning. It's talking about your voice. It's talking about your destiny. By listing these 3 everyday scenarios, the script builds a rapid, undeniable emotional connection with you. It makes this grand, towering concept of liberty fit right into the palm of your hand.
And then, the script does this. And someone, somewhere, paid for that. The source notes specifically call for a deep musical pause right here. It's what writers call a volta, or a turn. We've just been lifted up by those 3 empowering bullets, feeling really good about our daily lives. And then, boom, the script drops the floor straight out from under us. It isolates the single idea to force you to stop and reckon with that opening thesis again. The pacing slows way down. It forces you to realize that those cozy, everyday human experiences you just nodded along with, they are not the default state of nature. They're a purchased commodity. And the currency was human sacrifice. It is a brilliantly executed reality check that totally primes the viewer for the next major shift in the narrative.
Which brings us to Section 3, the core idea, moving beyond geography.
So the crucial point here is how the script elevates its subject matter. At this exact moment, the source material cues up sweeping visuals of a waving flag, a sunrise, the Statue of Liberty. But the text does something incredibly clever. It strips away the physical borders. This isn't just a country. This is an idea. By stating this, the narrative shifts from a physical nation to a foundational, philosophical premise. It's a brilliant way to broaden the appeal. It tells you that freedom isn't confined to lines on a map or a specific government structure. It's a universal, transcendent concept. It takes something that could be seen as purely patriotic and elevates it into something universally human.
And this next part brilliantly illustrates how the script cashes in on that universal idea. If freedom is an idea, what exactly is it? Step 1, you matter. Step 2, your voice matters. Step 3, your dreams matter. Do you see the parallel structure there? The script is repeating the exact technique it used earlier. It takes this massive, elevated concept, an idea that transcends countries, and immediately makes it about you. The repetition of the word matter is this rhythmic, staccato delivery designed to empower the viewer. It builds this awesome crescendo. It's not just saying that people in general matter, it is pointing directly through the screen at the person watching and validating their existence, their opinions, and their ambitions.
Okay, Section 4, Sacrifice and Story. The human element behind the rights. The source material notes that this section is meant to be delivered slower, with a really highly emotional tone, layered over slow-motion clips of families and soldiers returning home. But structurally, just look at this beautiful duality. Behind every freedom is sacrifice, and behind every right is a story. The script perfectly balances the privilege of liberty with the human cost required to maintain it. It pairs a somewhat clinical word, right or freedom, with a deeply human word, sacrifice or story. It asks the viewer to never look at a right in a vacuum ever again, but to look through it, to the human story standing right behind it. It's just a masterful way to synthesize everything the script has discussed so far.
Finally, we hit Section 5, Freedom as a Legacy, the final takeaway. The narrative concludes by redefining the term entirely. Freedom, not just a word, but a legacy. Now, why choose the word legacy? Well, think about it. A word is static. A word just sits there in a dictionary. But a legacy? A legacy is active. A legacy is something that gets handed down from one generation to the next. By defining freedom as a legacy, the writer ensures that the script leaves a lasting, ongoing impact. It tells you that this isn't just some fleeting emotional hit. It is an inheritance. And like literally any inheritance, it comes with the responsibility of maintenance.
Which brings us to the ultimate question this text implies. If freedom is a legacy, what will your chapter be? The script passes the baton directly to you, the audience. It takes all that emotion, all that built-up narrative tension, and places the weight of it squarely on your shoulders. It leaves you with a really provocative thought, forcing you to ask yourself how you fit into this grand ongoing story. It's not just telling you what to think, it's challenging you on how to act. I want you to just pause and let the weight of that question linger for a second.
And that leads us to the absolute masterstroke of the source material's formatting, the mandated call to action. If you believe in freedom, subscribe now. This channel is your voice. You know, in standard media, the subscribe ask often feels super jarring or totally disconnected from the content. But here, the writer brilliantly weaves it right into the exact theme we just analyzed. They spent an entire script telling you that your voice matters, that your choices matter, and that you are part of a legacy. Then, bam, they provide you with an immediate, frictionless way to exercise that voice by subscribing. They directly connect your newly recognized empowerment to a tangible action. It is incredibly effective script writing from start to finish. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today to look under the hood of viral storytelling. But before we go, I want to leave you with that thought one more time. If this is all a legacy, what will your chapter be?